All right, welcome to Pass the Mic. It is Friday, September 12th, 2025, episode 176 on Zoom. Busy week at work. We really couldn't stay after into Studio B. Mike Gervasi, how are you?
Great to be here. How are you?
I'm good, good. Feedback and errors. We did have an error right away. The Ren Dog caught it. Actually, later in this text, not in his right away text. We assumed it was going to be Tom Brady announcing that game in Green Bay.
Yeah, we got that one really
And it
wrong.
was not. It was the CBS A team, which is better than the Tom Brady. I mean, I know a lot
Yeah.
of people don't like Tony Romo, but I like Jim Nance is Jim Nance. I mean, the
I,
guy's.
I don't understand the Romo dislike. I've never
I
really
don't.
understood. I think
I
he's
don't either.
pretty
I think
good.
he's good and he's smart and he's. I don't know. I like him. I don't have a problem with him. So that we actually had the CBS A crew. I'm old enough to remember when NFC games were always on Fox and AFC
Yeah,
games,
right. I
and
Mike,
now it's just now they all bid on these games.
I don't think it was that long ago that was like that. So I
No,
think it's
and it's still that way. I think for like the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship
I think you're
game,
right. And I think the
like
majority of games still go with that network,
pardon me.
depending on where the games are played. If you don't mind, let me share another error.
Okay.
Deontay,
Oh,
the dream team was set in New York City. They were trying to go to Yankee game. So
Yankees game.
you
Okay.
were
I,
right.
I
I
thought
think
I
you
I thought
said
I
that.
mentioned the Yankees. Yeah.
I said
You said the
Chicago,
Chicago.
and he disagrees with me on the targeting penalty. So oh, let me say something else. Like with him, he feels your pain in having a player you can't stand playing for your team. Deontay is a bandwagon Laker fan. I'll tell you, he's been
Okay.
a fan his whole life. But any Laker fan, by to me,
Who
is a
doesn't he
bandwagon.
like? LeBron.
Carl Malone. I hate Carl Malone as a player,
Oh, yeah, that
more
would have been
so as a
tough.
person. But and so that made it in '04 when the Pistons won because he grew up around here, and I think he has some sympathy for the Detroit fans in general. So I think the loss in '04 was a little bit easier to tolerate because it kept Carl Malone from getting a title.
Yeah, it was a weird week, and then like Nate texted me, and he's like Rogers with the eyeballs, and that was like after I think just his first touchdown pass, and then he ends up
Yeah,
throwing four.
right.
You know, and then like I mean, looking at Justin Fields having the game, I sort of kind of wish we had Justin Fields just because he was younger, but it is what it is. They won. I tell you who I really like was Ramsey. Now that's a guy I can cheer for that they
Yeah,
added to their team because
he's fun.
he's
Yeah,
fun and he looks just as good as he did in year one. And there's a story I listened to a podcast today about when the Steelers went to pro day and they knew Ramsey was going to go in the top 5 or 6. And so Tomlin usually when he goes to these college pro days will take guys out to dinner that are in their range of drafting. And he didn't.
didn't bother to.
Ramsey's agent called Tomlin and said, "Hey, why aren't you taking him out?" And he's like, "Well, he's going to be gone. We're not picking in the top 5 or 6." And they still took him out to dinner and had a blast, I guess. So
Oh,
maybe all
really?
these years later, it worked out. So
Yeah, yeah.
feedback I
Uh,
got.
Go
Oh, you want
ahead.
me to? Well, I'm gonna. I'll. Elizabeth Pate said she does enjoy some '80s rock, and threw out some '18 in Life by Skid Row. Right? Isn't that who that is?
Such a great line in that song. Walk the streets a soldier and he fought the world alone. I love that
That.
line.
Listen, I almost recorded it yesterday. Someone had a speaker like back behind the science teachers, I think, at open house last night, and that song came on.
Oh
I
yeah,
heard it.
really? Huh.
18 in Life, yeah. Joe Bergay, I liked it too. She got a laugh out of the humping around that we mentioned. She
What was
did
that again? Wait, what was that?
Bobby Brown's humping around.
Humping around?
Max was threatening us that we were a little borderline not family friendly between that and the banana hammock.
Boy, the humping around, that's the fourth time we've said it. That really got some
It's
laughs.
hanging around.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
she did confirm that Katie Holmes went to Notre Dame Academy in
Yeah,
Toledo, and her
right.
sister-in-law actually taught her.
Yeah.
So, um, she did mention also that she does order her groceries online, but is not a fan of, as she puts it, $22 for having a smoothie delivered. Our kids are way too small or way too
That's
spoiled.
about right too. You got any more? I got plenty here.
So I got Jill, and I mentioned it earlier. Max said it was not a very family friendly start, which it wasn't, but we're back on the right path today.
Yeah. Okay. So Todd Bailey went into, according to the war, wins above replacement, to be clear here, not declaring war or anything. Uh, Miggy is actually number 14, greatest Tiger.
Oh,
Um,
a war. Now we're getting into the data.
yeah, Verlander is 9, Sweet Lou is 4, Trammell is 5. Miggy is actually 14. So, and I swear it is unreal that I am so defending Miggy and I'm getting blasted like this. I feel like I'm in a bizarro world. Kent Sakura came after me about that, and he said Verlander's the greatest Tiger. Um, Also, Kent Sakura said you're the only pro of the operation. I
Oh,
find
man.
Ken's gonna get a lot of shout outs here. My hot mic is gonna be about him as well.
Oh, okay.
So just sort of previewing things to come. And Max actually defended me though, like because Kent was very upset about my Miggy take. He's, as Max pointed out, as I said on the podcast, the host made it clear, the host being me, I was only judging players from my own lifetime. And Gary Bailey seemed to miss that as well in his post. And I know you wanted to talk about him a little bit, but on Facebook he posted about me and my pick there, and he also did not agree with it. So I really took some heat for the Miguel Cabrera one. I think he said get real. For whatever reason, I didn't take a screenshot of it. I usually screenshot them, but get real. Um, Also, one other thing, and then I'll let you have the floor. It seems as if a lot of people agree with my Eye of the Tiger take.
Oh, yeah.
Max Bailey does not though. Max Bailey likes Eye of the Tiger and thinks
Okay.
it's not overrated. So, um, yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I
and
got.
Gary did email because we sort of like poked a little fun about the who cares because we brought our first week of picks back, which by the way, I was perfect on Saturday, but 0 for on Sunday. Got so maybe
Yeah,
I should stick with college and avoid the pro games. And the Ren Dog let us know about that. But we're just kidding around, Gary. We know that, as my wife says, nobody cares about what we think throughout the whole episode, not to mention our picks. So
yeah.
she doesn't.
Um,
Nobody cares from second one to second to the last minute, not just the last couple minutes of picks. And speaking of the Ren Dog, shout out to the Ren Dog. I don't know if he'll still be in New York City when this goes live at 12:01 Eastern Standard Time, the city that never sleeps. But he's out there for the Yankees games. He is posting pictures in Times Square. He looked like Jason Voorhees, and well, it didn't look like Jason Voorhees, but he was right there in Times Square with the big stuff all behind him. He'll know what I mean by that because he's a big Friday the 13th fan. But like walking down, hopefully he didn't kick any boom boxes over like Jason
yeah.
did.
Well, I wouldn't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your
You've
word
seen that? I
for it.
thought you saw that one. Jason Takes Manhattan.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
One more I forgot. Wally. He went back a couple weeks, and he sympathizes with my position that teachers are in having to make everything fun, because everybody gets bored so easily when teaching things like the Holocaust and stuff like that. So Wally, he didn't tell me not to share that, so he sent that to me, and I was just thinking about how you said in the podcast about how we're supposed to make things fun, but then you have to teach something like the Holocaust. So Wally's certainly sympathetic to that.
All right. Well, great feedback. We always love
Yeah,
all the feedback there. Oh, is that everyone you got? Good. All right.
yeah,
Mike
that's
of
it.
the week. Mike of the week. Well, it sort of ties in with the 80s rock and also the start of the NFL season. I'm going to tie this in as well because this guy's a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I have
We
not.
did a little
Oh,
bit of his song last week. What was it? Brett Michaels, Poison.
oh, excellent.
Great, huh? Brett Michaels. He's a big Steeler fan. He did that own show where he's like trying to find a girlfriend. Do you remember that? Rock of Love or something. I don't even know what it was called.
Yeah, that was a while ago, right? VH1.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He was bald. He was always balding, and not that I wanted to talk to you, but he always wears like a bandana or something around his head. I mean, I think he's balding. That's why he's always wearing it.
You know what's so interesting about him? He is, and I don't know who the specific songwriters were, so maybe I shouldn't say him. But when I think of Poison, I think don't need nothing but a good time.
Yeah.
But they did two, one in particular, Something to Believe in. That is a
Oh
really
yeah.
sad ballad
Mhm.
about a lot of things, a lot of things in that song. I think that kind of captures the angst of the 80s. There's so much in that. You have homeless veterans, you have the so few with so much and so many with so little. He kind of addresses that. So it's and I know all musicians tend to do it, but with those guys especially, there's such a contradiction in between the majority of the Poison popular songs than in that one. And of course, Every Rose Has its Thorn, but that was more of a love ballad. But yeah, so that's it. Well done, Mike. That's a good one.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Education topic. You sort of thought you came up with this one. I think it's a good one. We've been talking a lot about AI and this sort of thing. And again, it's an election year coming up, so education's a focus on a lot of stuff. And you sort of we were wondering like how many years to throw this window down of like what will education look like in blank years. And we started, I think, with a little higher number, but I almost think that's too high because, and we decided to say 10 years. So it's 2025, 26 school year.
Yeah,
So, and we say 10 years because in reality, that, I mean, that I would have over, I would be over 30 with real years. We'd be getting close to both, if not retired, very close. Like it'd be the very end of our career. Wouldn't you say so?
right there. Yes, yes,
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
if not done within the next couple years, within the year or two.
Sure,
And
sure.
so, I mean, yeah, it's like I'm 50. I mean, 60, that'd be a little early, but so what will public education, what do we think it will look like in 10 years? I have just a few notes. I mean, do you want to go first? I mean, how do you want to do this?
Yeah, that's fine. So okay, so first off, you and I had a conversation, and this premised on a CBS NBA website where it said what's basketball going to look like in 2050. And so I just kind of parlayed that to us and what's education going to look like. We came with the 2035 number because it's 10 years.
Yes.
And I have students right now doing career research. I talked about the class before, and one student in particular, I won't say her last name. You're seemingly have taken on the FERPA police mantra. Olivia, though, is looking to become a teacher. So I told Olivia I was going to mention her without saying
Okay.
her last name, but she's looking into teaching. And I came across a startling statistic, which was that there's going to be less high school teachers 10 years from now, like projected
Yes.
growth in the
Yes.
field.
Growth rates. You do this all the time
Yeah,
with your econ
yeah.
classes.
And I couldn't believe it. And do you care? And I'm not, this is no gotcha to you because I
No.
talked to you about it. What did
Yeah.
you say? What did you say the reason you thought was?
Well, I think the birth rate, I think, isn't the big thing that's going, well, first of all, it's twofold. People are having less kids. We've had less kids than the baby boomers, and people younger than us are having less kids. Some of that financially driven. Also, this is non-political. This is not a statement. Less people are coming into the country right now. Like
Yeah.
under
Um,
current administration, like that's what's going on.
so that is correct. However, what I found out, the US population is actually growing. There was significant growth between July 1st, 2023 and July 1st, 2024. There's continued projected growth up through 2050. So
Oh,
this
well, then who are
is
these people
we're
saying that we're not having enough kids?
I right. I again, I was
Fake
baffled by
news.
this because I thought you probably were right. It made sense, but
I've
according to the
heard this like
numbers,
recently. Like people are like, oh, it's like they're in uproar. Like women don't want to
yeah,
have kids, and
right. So, and again, maybe it's because people are living longer. There's probably other factors going to play, but obviously we are through the worst stretches of COVID. Obviously, COVID's not gone, but I think we've gotten through the worst stretches of it where its impact on our population certainly was felt. But nevertheless, but Mike, I know AI is changing education.
oh
And
yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean, I have the students doing an assignment right now on our platform, which is called Magic School, where they are actually simulating a job, a day in the life of a job. And it's really cool the feedback that's given back. I am not capable of doing that. I'm sure as heck
yeah,
not capable of doing it with one student on any job but teaching, let alone 35 in an hour. And the feedback that these kids get back, it's remarkable. And so I am going to say, I think that projected, lower growth is because of AI. I mean, we had a meeting about it, I believe, 2 years ago at this time, and I
oh
remember
yeah,
Mr. Mall saying it's here, like it's
yeah,
happening, and he couldn't have been more correct. And we have to. I have a hard time. I don't know how you feel about this. I don't think I'm a dinosaur at the same time. I do have a hard time adapting to all the new technologies that we're getting, but I think AI is going to change everything. Is changing everything. I know how you feel about AI. I'm kind of partially there with you. I know I'm sensing you might bring up a certain drone situation that we discussed earlier today that, who knows where it comes from,
oh
but,
yeah. That
you
that
know,
military, that drone out in the middle of the sea.
yeah, but I think in a lot of ways, education, I predict it's going to be unrecognizable in 10 years in so many ways.
Yeah, just my feelings on AI. I'm not saying it's not going to be here. I'm saying that I'm worried about
No, I know you
misuse.
are. I know.
Um,
And I agree with that.
and my notes I have, and I'll get back to the AI because it's in there, is first of all, I think the focus even more so on, especially now with AI, on the importance of having social and interpersonal skills. The
Hmm.
ability to interact and talk and work with people via Zoom or in person are going to be so valuable. Um, because finding the information and getting the information is not going to be the hard part. The hard part is going to be communicating it and interacting as a human. Okay. Um, I also focus, and I also said this, I think there's going to be a slight swing back. And we talked about maybe even having a whole episode on this, so I don't want to go too much into it.
Sure.
That for years we were, again, we've talked about this before, like the pendulum swinging. We've been STEM, 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 and the humanities were just
Hmm.
let off to cast
Right.
aside. I mean,
Mocked. They were even mocked a lot of
we don't even
times.
test, social studies wasn't even really part of any state tests, for like the SAT or, what I mean? Like, and I think we're going to find that, okay, we got to go back to this so we don't lose this to
Hmm.
AI. Like we need to go back to, learning about this stuff, teaching it, um, reading. Again, again, I know that AI can summarize something for you and kick it out, but the ability to read, which is becoming weaker and weaker
It
every
is
year, and
absolutely,
we've talked
absolutely.
about these numbers, and the people that still read and don't just let chat GPT summarize something or just read a summary or a blurb. I mean, it's like what we talk about, these people that like try to downplay like the importance of an education. They're saying that as they're sending their kids to Ivy League
Yeah,
schools.
top-notch university is correct. Yes.
So be careful what you're listening to. Part of me thinks there's a segment of this population that wants people to be ignorant. And that worries me. So keep reading beyond the classroom. And then I've talked about this before. I feel like I'm beating a drum, but the future will be about people that not only accessing the information is going to be easier and easier, and finding it's going to be the people that can differentiate and make sure and confirm their information is correct.
Yeah.
Because I fear there's people that are wrong all the time now without
Yeah.
AI or with limited AI. And imagine a few years when people are doing everything via AI, how quick they're going to spike the football on things and be
It,
wrong.
you're right, and it's to the point now where any news story, anything you see, I question now because of the simple fact that are these things AI generated? So I totally agree with you. I want to say though, every time this comes up, I'm always reminded of this, the power of reading. I want to urge the listener just to go on YouTube and Denzel Washington, when he played Reuben Hurricane Carter, the Hurricane, he talks about the power of reading when he's in prison and the ability to transcend the prison walls and talk to Nelson Mandela and all these other historical Tolstoy and Huey Newton, all these other historical figures with the power of reading. That is something that is not that is going to be lost if we lose this generation to to AI and those type of things that are taking away from our reading skills.
Well, and my number one enemy for me reading is time. And so if this AI becomes real and gives me more time, people should be able to read more. That's always the excuse. People, I don't have time to sit and read a book. In reality, we have more time than ever nowadays to do stuff. So, and then again, I'm like you said, I'm not anti-AI. Something about our district, we're encouraging student use of AI, responsible use of AI, because
Yes.
again, we need to teach people, we need to teach them these things. And so what will it look like in 10 years? I don't think it's going to be like this drastic different school, like where everyone's wearing headsets and, Cliff Menser's zooming around on a Segway,
Right.
teaching 1,100 kids. Okay. But it's not going to be the exact same thing. I mean, do you ever see I mean, I know you just got some new textbooks and nowadays we do textbooks and we did do enough for every kid, but I think we're in the last days of physical textbooks, multiple
Yeah.
sets. I
Yeah.
mean, the last days. I mean, they're still holding on. And it's not because ebooks being that great. It's just because information is so readily available and changing so quickly. It's
Right.
the minute they go to the publisher, it's
Yeah.
old.
Oh yeah.
And so why are we doing this? Just not even like the physical materials. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, and I know publishers don't want to hear, but you can still publish information, electronic information. I mean, the Free Press and Detroit News, you still got to pay a subscription, right, to read it every day,
Yeah.
most of it. So
Most of it,
yes.
correct. Yes.
So there's still ways. Don't worry, we're not cutting off capitalism here. Someone's still going to make money, but I just think that yeah, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be, but I also think there's going to be a push to go back to be some non-digital, non-screen stuff. And we're already seeing that. We're already
Yeah.
seeing that. So
And it's funny because I had a student from Taiwan who sent me an email along with her other teachers that she had 2 years ago. Amazing student, her name was Jenna, and she asked about that type of thing. And so I think Taiwan is wrestling with the same type of stuff we are. Not just to bring up one anecdotal example. So this is we're not the only ones, going through this right now.
Yeah, no, and again, our heads are not in the sand. We're not sitting here saying it's not going to change. It's definitely going to change. But we'll be on the way out. So we'll be like the
Yeah,
old timers are pushing out. Maybe the Segway, well,
right.
they'll be kicking us out the back of the building. All right, overrated, underrated this week. I'm going to violate some car FERPA or car privacy rights. You had to put a new well, you didn't put it in, but your daughter needed a new transmission.
Yeah, I'm gonna start crying if we talk about it right
Sorry, I
now.
don't
So
want to.
let's.
Yeah, I don't want to hit you too hard. I mean, owning a car sucks. So it's like owning a
Yeah,
house too. We've done
right.
this before.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, overrated, underrated car features. I see this sometimes pop up on TikTok. I know you don't want to hear this. I don't want to steal anything. The big one that, or car features that people just wish weren't there, but that's not what we're doing. We're saying overrated. What is your overrated car feature?
Okay. First off, it's okay you bring up TikTok. I won't call you Bobby Brown or mention the song "Humping Around" right now. The fifth time we said that today.
I saw
So
something on
anyway,
X today that today's the big anniversary of a New Edition song hitting the charts. I forget which one it is. So
I wonder where. Yeah. Well, okay. We should do a overrated, underrated new edition songs. I got a very good one.
okay,
Uh, all right. Anyway, overrated car features, heated seats. I find them
okay.
to be pointless. In fact, I don't like to me, this is one that's overrated. Actually, does mean bad. I get hot. I don't like them at all. Um, I don't. But again, people do. I know a few people that swear by them. I don't care if it's the dead of winter. I do not like that feature. I don't like feeling the heat on my body. So that's my overrated.
All right. I don't. I use them. I don't. My wife loves them. Like she'll even use them like in the summer if her back's sore, like at a lower level. I'm neither here nor there with them. My overrated, and for a while, back when I started getting my first new cars, when I was Fords, especially a lot of Fords, a lot of their trim packages that you lease on, because they put you at a certain package all the time, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. You've leased
Yeah.
Fords. Most of them are leather interior, aren't they? Is your
Yeah.
Bronco leather? Like
No,
it's not. But
I don't believe. I didn't
most of
pay
them,
attention, but I don't believe so.
okay, most of them were. And I sort of got used to that. And then all of a sudden, when we started becoming a GM, I bought that Equinox for the kids. And then I just recently leased a Blazer. They were both fabric, like cloth. I'm telling you that leather interior is overrated. I don't think it's bad. I liked it, but it's not like I need to pay this extra for it. I'm totally fine with what I have in my Blazer and what's in our Equinox. My wife would feel definitely different. But to me, and again, this is, I think, a perfect one of overrated. It's not bad. But I just think that it's overrated. The car is just fine without
Uh, Okay, and I just checked. I was wrong, and that's how much I don't care either. It
it.
is leather, so that's
I
fair.
just know that I know Ford's, and we both, when we lease, are on the employee plan. They always try to set you at a certain level because that's the best rate. In reality, it is. It's something that's not too over the top, but it's not too bare bones. And it would have leather in it, and that's fine. I would take it. But now that I've gone my next car since I turned in my Explorer last time with these cloth seats, I'm totally fine with it. And they're heated, by the way, somehow
Yeah.
cloth seats. So,
Yeah.
all right, underrated. What do you got? I think I got a good one for underrated.
So I'm gonna go. This is a way of because I had a hard time coming up with one here, and then I thought of something Max gave me some years back. I don't know if this is specific to a connected to a car necessarily, but the tire gauge inflator. Just as a way of giving Max a shout out, he gave me one, and they always seem to come in handy. When you get the information on your car, I could
Oh,
actually
you mean
check
the
it to
the
make
the
sure.
the system in your car that tells you what's in there?
No, well, that too, yes, all of it together.
Yes,
Because Max has that. He gave me what are the tire gauge?
the tire
It's a
gauge,
gauge.
the
Yes,
PSI
the
gauge.
gauge. Yes, and then you get the information from the car. I think all of that together, it could save you from a horrible experience. Like,
Well, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I got stuck on a freeway once, and I couldn't function. Like I was
Yeah.
too scared to even bother trying because the cars are so close zooming
Oh
by.
yeah, that's no
If
joke.
you've ever experienced that, to me, it's far worse on the freeway, obviously.
Dangerous. I mean,
And
people aren't paying
yeah,
attention. That's how bad
right,
things happen.
right. And so I just, to me, having that ability to check your tires, I think it's great. Max, again, he gave me that one day. I don't remember why, but it was a cool gift, and it's come in handy. And when your tire gauge pressure thing comes on in your car, you know that you can check it accurately and find out for sure that there's not some short or something like
So
that.
that's great advanced. I think if you tie it all in, because it used to be,
Yeah,
we can go back to when we were driving in high school. All you would get is all of a sudden you'd be
yeah,
driving and you'd hear like,
yes, yes.
or you'd walk out and see it low. Right, that was
Uh-huh.
it. then it eventually came. You got one little light that would come on. I'm like, I'm going through history. You'd have a light, and then
Yeah,
you'd
yeah.
have to sort of play the guessing game of like, okay,
Which
one
one
of these
is it?
tires are loose,
Yeah,
and now or low. I'm sorry, and now they have it to the point where it tells you you can go dial
the
through, and you
tire.
can see your
Yes.
PSI on all four. You can
Yeah,
know which one to fill. You can know which one to go look to see if you have a slow leak. That's a great advance. I think that's a very underrated advancement all the way up with your tool because you went from having no clue to now knowing exactly what
yeah.
tire it is.
And I probably should have done that. I wanted to give a shout out to Max, but you're right. And that it tells you exact tire.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you it prevents. I'd like to know. There's no way of ever finding that. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe there's somebody that looks at the data on something like this. I'd like to know how many people, how much time has been saved because of this,
Oh, well,
how
on
much money.
GM, I don't know if it's like for Fords, but GM, when it happens on one of our GMs, it sends me an email
Oh, does it really?
or a
Tells you.
text.
Oh, the app. Yes, I get an. I have something on my
Yeah,
app
like
too.
your
Yeah,
right passenger tire is low.
yeah,
Please check. So
right.
it's great. I mean, that's great. I mean, because like especially if you get to work and it happens, you could call someplace to have it. You call AAA and you don't even have to instead of going out there and seeing it and dealing with it. It's that. So
Yeah,
we've lumped that all in. We
yeah.
added
That's
that in.
fine. You helped me out there. Thank you.
All right, my underrated, and I remember when this used to be like a really, this was expensive, and if you got this feature, you had a really expensive car. And now, thankfully, they've actually come down, mainly thanks to CarPlay and Apple Play, in your cars. But we're old enough to remember that back when you used to go on a trip, you'd print up the MapQuest directions, and to talk about dangerous, you'd have like 5 pages stapled to each other, and you'd flip it over, right? I think GPS is so underrated, and that's sort of now just expected. Like I would love one day for like my kids to like take a trip somewhere beyond like back here to Ann Arbor or whatever and print a MapQuest map and use that to get to wherever they're going. Right? Like
Yes.
it's so simple and easy, but it's so like I mean,
Yeah.
I think about like driving to Pittsburgh and we stayed in that hotel which was like right under the interstate right there. I mean it shows you what lanes to be in.
And
It's
it's funny you bring up MapQuest too, because that's this century. We
yeah.
use that this century. Like I'm thinking even before that, having to use an actual map. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, the actual like fold out road
yeah,
map
the
or like
bed pulled out.
the AAA trip kits. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So GPS right now it's just a given. Like when I first got out of high school or college and got my first cars, like they would say, "Oh, we have GPS," but it's like this much. It was like ridiculous. And remember, it used to be like a DVD base, so it would be outdated. And
yeah,
so, but now everything's based off your phone. It's so nice, and there's a whole generation does not realize how difficult it was. I mean, we did that trip a couple years ago. We went out all the way west, and I didn't know. I mean, I ended up driving all the way out as far west as Idaho, and we didn't get lost once. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
did get lost leaving Utah to get to San Antonio, not San Antonio, Santa Fe. I accidentally took the long way through Zion National Park, which added about 2 hours to the drive, but it
Hmm.
was scenic.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were a joy to be around at that point in
Well,
time.
I was fine. Chloe was having a meltdown, not to
No,
violate
okay.
family vacation privacy rules. All right, hot mic take. You said you had something about the legend Kent Sakura.
Yeah, Kent Sakura. So Kent, we were, if you remember correctly on our text thread, when the ruling from the NCAA came down, and I wasn't even in
Oh yeah,
disagreement
I didn't get
about.
involved in this.
No, you didn't get involved in it. I was not in disagreement. I think I don't know what the punishment should have been, but I think Michigan did something they shouldn't have done, and I think they didn't have to do it. It was a
Yes,
super talented team. But anyway, we're going through the text, and Kent mentioned the integrity of the sport. And he meant the literal playing field, but I just, I just hearing the little anecdotes from some of the people we know that played college football, um, and some of the things that have gone on with, different people you and I both know. I'm not going to mention any names. I just said the integrity's been gone. And I'm about to talk about two different sports, but I came across, so the Tiger game last night against the Yankees had one of the wildest innings imaginable. And by the time that inning was over, you know, the score went from tied to blowout. And it was one of the most surreal things. It was almost like watching a Little League game. I was like, well, this game's over. So I turned on the 30 for 30 about the 85 Chicago Bears, 40-year anniversary this year, by the way. And I end up watching the end of it, the last like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I thought of Kent because now this is a professional team. It's obviously different, but Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator on that team, was so close to the players And by the very, very end, former linebacker Mike Singletary walks out because he's tearing up. He can't even talk about it. Buddy Ryan writes this letter to his players, and the connection between those guys was so strong. And Kent at the time on the text seemed to kind of take offense, even though he acknowledged what I was saying. He kind of took offense. And I think what I wanted to publicly apologize to just say, yeah, I think I missed that one a little bit because I know not as well as certainly not as well as professional athletes or college athletes, but I know there's a connection that coaches have to players. And the sweeping indictment I made that the integrity of the sport was gone. That as I'm watching that yesterday, I'm thinking, man, that's kind of humbling. Like I need to shut my mouth sometimes. I was trying to make a point. I stand by the point that I think some shady things go on, but the relationship and the wonderful things that a lot of these coaches have done for players is to me far outweighs the negative. So in that regard, Kent, as I watched that yesterday, I thought of you and I thought, and I'm sure Max is rolling over in his grave right now hearing me say something, apologize to Kent, but he was right. And watching that made me think of that. So Kent, you were right. I was wrong. I
Well, there we go.
apologize.
Nice. Well done. I'm so I'm gonna this sort of ties in. I'm going this weekend. I'm going to Ann Arbor for the Central game. I have tickets for the game. Elise has never been. This will be her first time at the big house. It's parent weekend for Chloe. We're picking up Nate. We're going to spend this Saturday in Ann Arbor for the Michigan game. We also later in the year have a hotel booked for Michigan State because that's going to be a big family event because Chloe's going to come up, this or that. Well, today Elisa messaged me and said, "Hey, game tickets are going on sale for the Michigan State game. Do you want to click? Here's the link." And I clicked on it for a second, and by the time I clicked on it, they were like all single seats in the upper bowl. And I got to thinking, and I'm like, you know what? No, I don't. It's October 25th. It's just late in October. And I texted her back. I'm like, no, we'll do, and because I'd already been looking at like a parking, like, what am I going to pay for parking? And I just decided this. And tell me if you think this is a crazy route to go with this. So we're in this hotel about 10 miles away. We're not staying in the Graduate in East Lansing or the Marriott there. We're going to Uber in to East Lansing. I'll pick up and this Joe Burrow guy who or I believe they're going as well. I'll pick up a 12 pack of Pepsis, probably Pepsi Zero. All right. Go tailgate for a little bit and then go find a bar in East Lansing with coverage, bathrooms, menu, and food and drink and watch it. And Elise says, Elise like, well, isn't that going to start getting expensive with the Uber, like from the hotel and I go, yeah, it is, but so are tickets. So is part like, which route do you think sounds better? Spending a ton of money on tickets or my route going into this
I
bar?
guess I'd like to know the price of the tickets
Oh,
before
they're like,
I.
they're the ones now. They're like, I mean, and here's the thing: we could wait this out too, because if both teams sort of have,
Yeah.
I mean, State's not really supposed to be that great. If anything, they might be okay, but in Michigan, sort of, we don't know what they are. I still think Michigan's the better team. I'm not like these people, 2-0, 1-1. I'm not that dumb, but I don't, it's October, and the thing about that game too is a lot of Michigan fans can flood that game if they are good, if they are going. But
Mhm.
still, like the point is, if let's just say the tickets 150 or more each, you're better off doing my route, right?
You're better off doing your route. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be pretty costly. I mean, the things you're
Oh
mentioning. I
yeah,
mean, you go to the bar if you're getting dinner and everything. That's gonna.
oh yeah,
But it's not gonna. I'm trying to think what's a fair 130, $140 maybe drinks
yeah. But
and
Lisa's not going to
food.
drink $150 worth of Miller Lights. I mean,
No, but
Pepsi
I mean,
Zeros.
you look at all the meals.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, $20 per person, maybe $25 per person. I mean,
Now, eventually, I do want to go to a game in East Lansing. I do want to go into the stadium there with them, but I don't want to do. I mean, we can go next year to Parents Weekend when they're because it's their Parents Weekend too this weekend, and I think they're playing what's it called, Trestle's old school, Youngstown State.
Youngstown State, yeah,
Yeah, so sure wins for both schools. So we're not even
yeah.
going to pick the college, Gary. We're not going to waste anyone's time uh, with the colleges. Even though I was 2-0 last week, even though I got State and Oklahoma correct. So
Okay, so what do we got here?
all right, we only got our
Um,
pro games. Both of our
all right.
teams play at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Bears are at the Lions. We're not. I'll just the Lions are a little more favored. Detroit -5.5. Pittsburgh's -3. Pittsburgh's playing the Seahawks at home. Both teams started on the road. Pittsburgh did win. Detroit lost. Again, we don't do the spread. Detroit at home versus the Bears. Who do you got?
So just got a text here when we started. It seems like Taylor Decker's having some shoulder issues. I don't know if that makes him questionable or what. So you have an offensive line that's already questionable. Um, I Lions have to win. So I have to pick them because they have to win. If they don't win this game, you're staring at a road trip to Baltimore next week.
at 0-2.
0-2. They have to win. So by necessity, Lions by any means necessary if they win this game. So I'm going Lions.
Do the Bears have to win too after blowing that game against Minnesota?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I just yeah.
Here's the thing. I heard it on the radio today. I'm going to pick the Lions. I think they do win. They have a great home field advantage. I think that I don't think this is easy. I mean, the Bears played them hard last year with
They
bad
did.
coaching,
It
with
took a
bad
coaching
coaching and less
colossal.
talent.
Sorry, I got mosquitoes flying over me
No,
here,
you're
but
fine.
it
So
was
I
a
mean,
colossal coaching blunder. He got
yeah,
fired for it. Like that
yeah.
was
I mean
a
that they're a good. They were not a very good team, and they almost won yet last year. And the Lions were, so by all means, I'm not saying this is a sure thing, but I think that I don't see the Lions going 0-2. And you're right. If they go 0-2, I will be taking the Ravens in 2 weeks because they're going to go 0-3.
yeah.
That's the scary part. The Steelers home against Seattle. I got that one wrong. I picked the Jets, and I looked like I was going to be right for a little bit there. But again, bad teams keep losing, and that goes with you look at the Bears, you look at the Jets, and you look at the Browns. Three teams that should have won in week
Yeah.
one. Three historically bad teams
Hmm.
recently, historically. And what happened to all three of them? They lost. They could not finish. They
Found a way
did
to
dumb
lose. Yeah.
things.
Hmm.
And that's the NFL. And for years, that was the Lions. That was the Lions. Like it was always our
Absolutely.
thing, right? Like we could never. And I think that Pittsburgh, their offensive line, it's still questionable. But they got some guys banged up on defense. But I think they'll be better on defense this week, and I think they'll beat Seattle. I'm not concerned with Seattle.
I'm gonna go Seattle on this one. I think
Ooh,
they're gonna come back angry. They had a tough loss against the Niners, right? And
yeah, at home.
not
Remember,
not
they used to be unbeatable at home.
yeah, that 12th man, but I still think I like their coaching. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna pick Seattle on this one.
Okay.
I'm not. But again, Aaron Rodgers, he did. This is one thing, and as a person that had an Achilles injury, who's not a professional athlete, who's also older than Aaron Rodgers, although not that much older, he might have just needed a year to
Of getting
recover,
healthy.
and so maybe he's gonna be somewhat of the Aaron Rodgers of old. I just don't think so. I think
I mean, he
he's
can't move, but I tell you what, man, he can throw the ball, and
he
and
still
he
could throw it.
leads
Yeah,
people. And I'm going to tell you what, Metcalf, and that's a big difference. I mean,
yeah.
Metcalf is way better than Pickens, even even with the age difference. I mean,
Yeah, and again, you're putting a guy with a competent organization. He's gone. He left the Jets, so maybe there's that aspect of it as well. He's gonna find some of that old magic. I don't see it, but
and
again,
here's the other
he
thing that I agree with. They have been mediocre the last few years. We've always joked about it. They made the playoffs with bad quarterbacks,
yeah yeah
bad to below average quarterbacks. And like I saw somebody say, Aaron Rodgers, okay, no, am I putting them in the Bills Ravens category to win a Super Bowl? No, not or be in an AFC Championship game, not at all. But what Aaron Rodgers can do that these other guys didn't do, he can win in that first weekend.
hmm
He can win in that first
yeah
weekend against any team, other than maybe Buffalo, I would say, and I think Buffalo's going to be the one seed anyway. So like last year against Kansas City, I mean, Kansas City's human this year. Aaron Rodgers is not going to lose you that game individually. They may
no
not win. They may not be good enough defensively to win, but he is going to be the type of guy that he can win it, whereas these other guys weren't going to be able to win it. And
no well,
look at Russell Wilson in week one. I mean, they're ready to be done with him in New York.
yeah already. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't take long there, did it?
No. So
And Daniel Jones goes to. This is just funny to talk.
the
Daniel Jones
NFL
goes.
has the NFL has exactly what they want. So
Yeah yeah.
all right, everybody. Well, we hope you all have a great week. We'd love to hear your feedback on car features. I know everyone has their niche things that they like or don't like. A big shout out again to the Ren Dog. I hope you're enjoying New York City, one of our big fans in the Big Apple. The Ren Dog, enjoy it out there. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.